I've had people where I send the video and then they ghost me because they're like, this lady is kind of crazy and a little bit overwhelming, too much. And the first webinar that we did together brought in almost $27,000 of cash collected and almost so close to 50,000 for contracted value, which was just absolutely huge.
So, everyone, this is Casey, the one and only I'm here with. So, Casey, for everyone watching, please tell me a little bit about yourself, who you are, what you do, and your background.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm Casey Jones, and I'm CEO of the Essentialist CEO. Essentially, I'm a business coach that helps consultants make more money. The whole idea is helping them have a smarter kind of strategy and building systems and building leverage into their business so that they can make more money without, working crazy hours or scaling their team. And I live in Portland, Oregon, in the US, and I've been an entrepreneur now for about 8 years, but doing this for the last few of those. Yeah.
And what got you to basically start the Essentially CEO from the beginning?
So it was a whole evolution. I mean, like I said, I've had a business for 8 years. It has been every kind of business a business could possibly be in that time, more or less. And I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, I was doing some consulting, doing some coaching, and I was doing personal brand cohorts. And I knew that the cohorts were not really what I wanted to do, but they were making good money and people were very interested in them. And so I decided I was going to continue doing those while I was sort of figuring out kind of the next stage of my business. And what was helpful about doing those personal branding cohorts is I got to work with the same audience that I now work with in Essentialist CEO, which is consultants. So very experienced people who are very good at what they do, but who know they should be making more money doing it.
Yeah.
And it was through that I started to realize that, the thing that was holding them back wasn't learning how to write content on LinkedIn. It was knowing what the hell they were selling in the first place and having the real strategy around their positioning, their offers, and then all the systems related to their business. And so that's sort of how it all evolved. And, I shifted things from that kind of cohort style business focused on LinkedIn and personal branding into this longer term group coaching where we're really focused on like the whole ecosystem around the business with a real emphasis on the positioning.
Cool. So, when we reached out to you from the beginning, what got you to start working with us compared to, everyone else reaching out to you? Because I can imagine there are multiple people reaching out every single day.
Yeah, I get prospected to a lot. So there's a couple of things. One, you happened to reach out at just a really good time. I had already built a funnel, but I had to part ways with the person who was helping me kind of build it and run it. And so I was looking for someone to take it over. I had started working with someone to take it over, but I was not impressed with their kind of communication and the level of sort of experience and detail that they had. And so when you guys reached out, it felt like a good time, but also you were talking about these funnels and this webinar style funnel, which is what I do and how I do it. And this is a big one. So I have sort of a policy where when I am interested in potentially working with someone, I will send, let's be real, a long-winded Loom video of talking about my business and where I am and what I'm looking for and all these other things and send it to someone before I get on a call with them. And I do that because I can tell a lot about someone and about what it's going to be like to work with them by how they respond to that video. Oftentimes, they don't watch the frickin' video.
Really?
And which is very interesting because I can tell. And so then I'll get on the call with them and I'll realize they haven't watched it, or I'll see that before the call and I'll cancel the call. I've had people where I send the video and then they ghost me because they're like, this lady is kind of crazy and a little bit overwhelming, too much. And so they don't want, and you guys your whole team watched the video, I think multiple times, had a really great response before we even got on the call. And so that by the time we then got on the call, it was great where I felt like we were on the same page. And there was this immediate sort of like mutual sort of respect and appreciation for the level of detail and the level of kind of information that we were giving each other. And so it was awesome. Like I just felt like we got on that call and there was already real clarity and collaboration. And you helped my ego because you especially, Vincent, were like, oh my God, that video is awesome. Like, I love this. This is so great. And I was like, yes, I am not overwhelming them with my like level of detail and being overly communicative. And so it just like from the jump, I just felt like it was going to be a really great collaborative working relationship, and it has been.
For sure. And for context for people watching, like when we onboarded Casey, I already told her like this is one of, if not my favorite client already, because she was also very prepared. Like you sent a lot of info, a lot of context, a lot of, things that we could start working with on the get-go.
Yeah.
So I think it clicked very well just from the beginning.
Yeah, and I think it allowed us to move really quickly while also, being aligned and being kind of on the same page throughout, which was really nice.
And you mentioned like you've worked with a few people like before us. When it came to the delivery, what was it that, made us different compared to them?
That's a really good question. So, and honestly, that question I think is really indicative of how you guys operate. You are so thoughtful about everything that you do. Nothing feels like it is kind of scattershot or I don't know, lacking in intentionality and I don't know, lacking in intentionality. So everything is very thoughtful. It's also like we have great conversations. It's always like fun while moving forward quickly. And I think, the thing that's always tough with these kind of funnel projects is the beginning is a lot. Like it's a huge build. And even when I was a little bit of a pain in the ass in the beginning, probably not a little, but whatever, you were super patient and understanding and moved forward like very quickly. And again, really communicative, really collaborative. And I didn't have to feel like I was guessing what was going on or what was going to be happening next, which was really helpful. And you know what? There's one other thing. The other thing that I appreciate about you and your team is everyone is thoughtful, has experience, has strong ideas about things, but it's not an issue when I push back or when I say I want to do things in a different way. And I think that's what winds up being what makes the relationship more collaborative is you are super intentional, so you can change my mind about things, and you're also very open-minded, so I can change your mind about things as well.
There's no right or wrong to anything, there's always different paths, but we're always open to changing the funnel, adding something, removing something, whatever. Like it's all about testing, really, for sure.
And that's the deal. I think what's been great is we've taken a real experimental approach. And so recognizing that we're going to try some stuff and some of it will work and some of it won't. And that's how it works. Right. And so that's also what I think has made it fun is that you and your team have that mindset when it comes to these kinds of projects.
And, prior to working with us, what was, your biggest bottleneck in the business? Was it like, actually setting up the back end, or was it, getting the ads working? What was like the biggest thing?
I mean, it was really like the whole build out of the funnel itself and then the management of it. And so the big thing is like I have a ton of experience in marketing. I can technically do all of these things myself. I have other shit I need that is more important. And so you really helped me make a lot of kind of forward progress in my business and particularly related to acquisition. Without me having to execute or manage every little detail, which is huge.
So it was more like a time issue.
time and also just mental energy. And so by you taking a lot of those things off my plate, it frees me up to be working on more kind of bigger picture strategic initiatives that really move the business forward.
And if we want to get into the numbers here,
Yeah.
the fun part, what did your numbers look like per webinar? Like, what were you making per webinar before working with us and then after working with us when it comes to revenue?
Yeah, the most that I had made from one of my webinars before was and 19,000 in terms of like cash collected, and a little over 20,000 of like cash earned, so contracted value. And the first webinar that we did together brought in almost $27,000 of cash collected, and almost so close to 50,000 for contracted value, which was just absolutely huge. Yeah, it got me very excited very quickly.
That's amazing. And what do you think like made the biggest difference that we implemented that kind of, took that next step? Because it almost doubled the cash collected and then more than doubled the revenue.
So I think the biggest thing, genuinely, I think it was everything was super dialed in, but it's also, I think the biggest difference for me and for this funnel was everything that happened between the actual webinar and like sales calls. And so the close rate was super high, like super high. And so, and the way my funnel works is on the webinar, I pitch my offer, but I don't say the price. And so I'm asking them to apply for my program. And once they apply, if they meet certain criteria, they are allowed to book a call with a salesperson. And then I tell them all the information about the pricing and all these other things. And so people can cancel the call if they feel like it's no longer a fit for them. And so even with multiple people canceling that call, which we want them to, if they're like, no, I can't afford this, we want them to cancel that call. We still had over a 34% close rate. And the other thing is, your team took the sales calls for me, so I didn't have to do all of those. And the close rate was crazy freaking high. And I genuinely, like, again, it's more you taking things off my plate so that I could move faster and we could do more.
For sure. And like you mentioned a lot about, you being able to save more time, save more energy. Like, what have you now been able to kind of use that time and energy? Have you like been able to take more time off? Have you been able to focus more on delivery? Like, what's that, meant for you on like a personal level?
Well, part of the challenge and part of why I had taken a big pause in the webinars before we started working together is I've been dealing with kind of health issues personally. And so I can't work 60 hours a week. I just literally, like, physically cannot. And so I had taken a pause on my webinars before so that I could get caught up on delivery and some of these other things. And so I was a little bit nervous about turning them back on because I didn't want to then have to get exclusively focused on acquisition and stop really delivering for my business. And so this has allowed me, one, to continue to sort of protect my health and have a good work-life balance, which we know as entrepreneurs is really freaking difficult. And two, it meant that like I could continue to work on everything else related to my business. And that's the thing. It's when you're only focused on acquisition, the delivery, your admin, your operations, your everything else will take a hit. And so it's been amazing to have a really strong partner in you and in your team on the acquisition side so that I can make sure that the business overall is continuing to improve and can sustain the growth. Yeah.
And, for the person who's watching this and is kind of on the fence, is, it has a great offer, has a great, delivers on the value, but can't really, get that many clients and is on the fence about, working with us, what would you tell that person?
I would tell that person that Vincent, you and your team are a phenomenal partner for any business that is trying to figure out how to get to that next level. Because the thing that is amazing is you're not gonna try to force them into some sort of cookie cutter formula. You're gonna work and really build something that works for them, works for their business, works for the kind of business that they are trying to build. And you'll also do it in a way where, I don't know, it's fun. It's not just effective, it doesn't just work. It's also like fun and it's exciting and it's you and your team have always made me feel like I have a partner. And that's what I think we're all looking for as entrepreneurs. Entrepreneurship can be a really lonely journey.
For sure. Yeah.
So what we really want is we want to be able to work with people who are real partners and where we've got mutual skin in the game and where we're learning from each other and it's fun.
Yeah. And as
Yeah.
you kind of said, when you started working with us, business is kind of like dating in the beginning, and it's true. Yeah, it's true. you know.
Totally.
And is there anything else you want to bring up before we round this up?
I think one of the things that I really appreciate about you and your team is, and I've said it multiple times, is that there's a lot of assholes in this business. Like a lot of the people that we wind up getting prospected to are people that like, I don't know, they don't have our best interests at heart. They might deliver good results, but you don't feel great about the relationship or you don't necessarily feel great about like who they are as people. And the thing that I think has been so great about working with you and your team is you're all just like really good guys. You're heartfelt, you're smart, you're thoughtful, you're really kind, and like life's too short to work with assholes.
I appreciate it a ton. That means a lot, to be honest. Yeah, the best thing is when we get to work with someone who's amazing as well. So,
Yay. Yeah.
I think that's it. Thank
That's
you
it.
for this interview. And yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you.